Howdy and welcome to the Mighty Mo Chuck channel. It's a Chuck. So YouTube is going to start labeling videos if they think the videos are sponsored by some government. And it comes back to where the people who believe that Russia interfered in the U.S. election, as though free speech is somehow interfering in the U.S. election. It doesn't matter where that free speech comes from. Free speech in itself is not an interference in democracy. Free speech is essential to democracy. It doesn't matter where that free speech comes from. But if YouTube wants to label videos, sure, fine, why not? Who cares? YouTube has decided to label PBS as government propaganda because it receives some government money, even though it receives a large part of its funding through donations from the private sector. It does receive some government money. But here's the thing, though. Let me mention the thing. But YouTube, Google, the Alphabet, the parent of YouTube, it receives money from the U.S. government. It has government contracts. It probably receives advertisement money from the U.S. government. You know, if they're showing anti-smoking crap, the odds are that those commercials are funneled through the U.S. government in some way. And there's probably other advertisements that the money probably comes from the U.S. government. So are they going to label their own videos propaganda? Amazon has government contracts. If any videos that Amazon were to put on YouTube, are they going to label that government propaganda? There are giant multinational corporations that may not be considered a government by modern terms, but in fact, many of these corporations might qualify as a government in the same way that the U.S. colonies, the original U.S. colonies, were both corporations and government, the combination of the two. Some of these corporations might as well be governments. They're as big as governments. They have a gross domestic product larger than some governments. So any advertisement from a giant multinational corporation, are they going to label that as propaganda? Because those corporations, they're basically governments. I mean, you cut through the BS, they're basically government. Now, like I said, I don't really have a problem with YouTube labeling videos however they want to label them. But if that carries through with some of this other stuff that they've been doing to basically damage channels, damage videos, select winners and losers within their ecosystem. So basically they bury certain videos so low and then they raise other videos up so high, basically to choose which information they're going to allow their viewers to be subjected to. What they're going to do is they're basically they're just going to continue down this path of alienating people until people will start turning to other platforms. Free speech is not the enemy of democracy. The enemy of democracy is when there is not diverse voice. The enemy of democracy is when you have the government, the U.S. government itself, and the giant multinational corporations putting out propaganda and lying to the American voter about certain things. And it's up to the person that's viewing the information, listening to the information, to try to decide, okay, is what Russia is telling us, or just whatever, I just say Russia as an example, is what they're telling us more believable than what our own government is telling us? What's wrong with the viewer trying to decide for, which is more believable, what our government says or what the Russian government is telling us? How much information would never have been out there if it had not been for WikiLeaks and hackers? Now, who cares where these hackers were getting their information from? If it was truthful information, why should you object to the truth being out there? Why should you object to the truth? And I know, fake news. Before Trump started talking about fake news, you had the elite media trying to label all the information that they were not controlling All the information the elite media were not controlling. They tried to label all other information fake news. And basically Trump took what they were saying and started pointing out the elite media's lies, the lies to the American people, and basically saying, look, you are the fake news. You are the fake news. WikiLeaks is actually telling us some of the truth. Truth is not the enemy of democracy. Free speech is not the enemy of democracy. Even lies is not the enemy of democracy. As long as there is open debate, as long as there are diverse opinions, as long as there is intellectual debate going on, which gives the viewer enough information so they can decide what to believe and what not to believe. It should not be the elite media determining what is believable and what is not believable. It should not be YouTube that decides what's believable and what's not believable. Let the person viewing the videos decide for themselves what's believable and what's not believable. Now, Hillary Clinton's problem was there were truths being put out there about the Clinton family, and yet there were some lies being put out about the Clinton family. But the lies were believable because of the truth. The lies were believable because of the truth. So even though, yet there were some lies out there, and some people believed those lies, the reason those lies were believable is because of the history of the Clinton family and the truths that were involved with the Clinton family. Batman's tail is going in front of my webcam there. He's blocking me out. That's pretty cool, baby. Batman said, what are you talking about, Chuck? What are you talking about? What are you talking about, man? He stretches his back legs sitting on, I've got a coffee table on the desk, and he's sitting on the coffee table, and his tail's going down. So sometimes I put the computers up on the coffee table. That's when I'm doing a standing video. Right now I'm sitting, so I'm on the lower level. But sometimes when I've got where I like to stand when I'm doing the videos, and so I put the videos up on the coffee table. But anyway, right now Batman's on the coffee table, and his tail's just a swishing in front of the thing. All you're seeing of Batman is his tail. So anyway, I guess I think I made my point. I don't point in repeating it over and over and over again, which I tend to do way too much of. So anyway, much thanks for watching and listening. I do appreciate it. Thank you.